Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video. Now welcome back to another OP.GG review. Again, this time of year, just to have a little bit more, flexible content. OP.GG reviews are really good, and I do think they're obviously good content in general. So I'm actually finishing off my final stream before Christmas, before the break, with a Twitch subscriber version. So we're going to get started. So we're starting with a North American, so let's go over to here. And then put that in, and here we go. Let's get started. So we are, and making sure everything's fine on the screen. It looks to be, yep. The Galaxy Chaos on North America, currently Silver 4. I do not know what that means. Provisional rank 1, 2, 3. I'm guessing that's like they're implementing the new system. That obviously in the upcoming season, after your first rank game, it's going to tell you what your minimum rank is. I'm guessing they're implementing that right now, but it's just a bit buggy. Let's just do an update to make everything make sure everything's up to date. So, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, so in preseason...
Another name off the list.
Thanks so much, dude. In preseason, we're playing, obviously, a bunch of top lane, a little bit of AD carry. Great win rate on Yorick with a pretty good KD. That's fine, because, again, Yorick is a split-pushing champion. So his KDs are never usually that impressive. They're more neutral than anything. Gangplank, yeah, a little bit, high deaths is obviously something worth noting right away. But overall, not bad win rates on your most played. And then, obviously, we are dropping down when we're playing other things. We've got some Galio games here. Again, sometimes I see a pattern that, I'm not sure if it's true. You can tell me if it's true, Galaxy, because you're in Twitch chat. Oh, Huz uploads a Galio video. Oh, I'm going to try out Galio, and I see it all the time, and it's like, oh god, don't do it in ranked first. So what we'll do actually is just check. Was there any Galio games? So there's the Galio ranked game. There's no Galio normal game, so there's no practice. Again, don't do that in your ranked games, especially if you're at the lower end of the ranked tier. But again, with preseason, something that is worth noting is how many games did you play last season? Do I get that information anywhere nowadays? Oh, okay, there you go. So you played, what, about 660 ranked games, but with, I don't know, maybe about 30 of those counting from preseason. So about 600, let's just say, ranked games. You played 55 champions, and again, the normal thing that we always do, from 45 till 55, these are all losses. Always ask yourself the question, why are those games there in the vast majority? You played Katarina randomly. There's a 0-14 game, a 1-8 game, a 2-13. So just be a little bit, bit more decisive of, I'm playing this because then we go above and there's the same pattern. 2 games on Twitch, 2 losses, bad KD. 2 games of Yasuo, bad KD. 2 games of Ari, bad KD. So again, just be a little bit more like, I've got this champion pool, I'm going to stick to it, rather than just like playing anything. That's just one thing right off the bat will definitely help. And then preseason, you've played, I think it was roughly 30 games in preseason, but you've played 18 champions. Again, I don't mind that too much because it's preseason, but make sure you're just doing your research before you play the champion. So again, like 3 and 7, 2 and then 8.5 deaths in 2 games there, 2 and 10 Udyr. So just again, make sure you're doing the research before you play it. Actually pick up the champion in normal games or flex queue or something before you take it into solo queue would be my biggest recommendation. And again, there's a lot of advice we can throw, but you may as well just go over the basic things before you go into the more advanced, because again, your win rate is negative. If you just change that one problem, your win rate will probably be neutral. There you go. That will help instantly to climb. And then control ward's not too bad. Farm, it's okay. Again, some games, I'm guessing that was support, yeah. Some games, farm could be higher, but honestly, again, you've got to scale it to the rating you're in, and you're going to be in the silver 4 area, so it's not that bad at all. Over 200 farm in some games, at the high ends of 100, so yeah, honestly, it's not that bad at all. Right, so we'll go for the next person. We'll just stick with NA, I think, because then we don't need to swap over to a different server. We're now going for Softpool 1487. We'll just update it again, just to make sure it's all up to date. Okay, so we're now, again, back in Silver 4. We're in North America, negative win rate. So we can try and find out why there's a negative win rate. Again, rank solo. So Zoe with a positive win rate. Severe, so a lot of good win rates here. So that's a great sign. If these are new champions you're picking up, we'll have to have a look. But that was from last season, and preseason you've just kind of followed the same suit. Like your top champions in ranked solo are the exact same, so that's fine. So in season 8, did you play any Zoe? A little bit, but your Zoe actually wasn't going great last season, and instantly in preseason there's improvement there. Farm's pretty low, but good win rate, and obviously that is something that you've got to obviously pay attention to. Again, like I've said to everybody, overall champion win rate is not really that important when it comes to like you as an individual, but individual win rate is. And your individual win rate, they don't lie, 67, 71, 80, 100%. So just go with what the data is telling you, and you'll probably find yourself climbing. Again, that's just the basic advice that I think every ranked league player should follow. Follow what your own game data is telling you to do, and you'll probably climb a bunch. Because what people do a lot of the time is they ignore all my really good win rate champions, and they kind of go, but I have a really fun time playing, I don't know, Karthus or whoever, and they've got a really bad win rate on it. It's like, stop. Like, again, do that in a normal game if you want to get out your system, but if you want to get that ranked MMR, that ranked badge, stick with the really good stuff. And again, don't pay attention to tier lists. Don't really pay attention too much to patch notes, because in the grand scheme of things, those tiny little changes here and there, they don't really affect the game until you get to like Diamond. So kind of ignore it and just focus on things that you play really well, and you'll find yourself climbing a lot better. So Softpore and Twitch are saying you picked up Severe and Renekton in preseason. So yeah, your Severe's doing pretty good, and the farm is on average, higher than your other AD carries, and then your Renekton farm is the highest out of any of these, and you've got 100% win rate. So there's just, again, don't ignore the data is my biggest piece of advice. And then anything else? Well, in your recent ranked games, not many control wards happening. In these 4 games, only 2 on the Zoe. So potentially look to maybe invest in a couple per game. But that's about it. Again, just don't ignore the data is my best advice. And again, there's no point me giving crazy amount of advice, because you can just kind of focus on the basic stuff, and that will probably make you, like, just focusing on that basic advice, honestly, could probably get you to gold next season, in all honesty. All right, let's go for another one. 16 days ago was the last update. Holy moly. Let's just update that. All right, so we are a silver player for the last 3 seasons. Not as good season 8 than season 7, so I don't know why. If, something happened, didn't play as much, not really sure. So we are an AD carry player by the looks of it, with a bit of top lane. That's the preseason stuff. And then rank solo doesn't seem to be at all different, so you're not a flex player at all, and you're not a 3v3 player. Okay, cool. So, how are we doing? So, Ezreal, Aurelia. So, yeah, I'm saying so too much. AD carry on top. Not bad. Again, one thing I'm already pointing, like, straight away, you're playing a different champion every single game. In order, it's why I say to people, don't copy what I do. I don't mean to put myself at another level, but as a YouTuber even, I need to have variety. I'm not a one-trick channel, so I make sure I play everything like a different champ every game. You as an average rank player shouldn't. In order to get better at Ashe or Ezra, whatever champion you're playing, play multiple games in a row of the same champ. But literally in this list, that you do not have a single moment that you've played the same champion 2 times in a row. Like, there's not 2 Jinx games, there's not 2 Vayne games. It's going to be hard to get consistency and hard to kind of get better and improve if you're playing a different champion every single game. So that's one thing we can just say straight away, is potentially look to play the same champions a few times in a row. Because, if you have a good performance the first game and you get a victory, then you can kind of get yourself on a roll by playing another 1 or 2 games of that champion, and you're also probably going to improve a lot more because you're playing it more often. And, don't be a one-trick or anything, but, like, just do that, like, play 3 Ashe games, then play 3 Vayne games, then 3 Jax games, or whatever. That will probably help you a bunch just off the bat with looking at your match history. Again, it might not be what you normally do. Maybe it's just because it's preseason and it's, it's preseason. You just want to experiment a lot. Fair enough. But in the actual ranked season, which is starting in January, like literally a month roughly from now, get that consistency by playing the same stuff a bit. He does say, Connor in the chat, I used to one trick, but now I'm too far the other way. Yeah, so I'm obviously the complete other end of a one trick. I wouldn't recommend that if you want to climb. Like, I'm pretty content with being a diamond player, and next season, yes, I want to push for master. Next season is going to be easier to get master technically than any other season, but I'll still count it. But you will see me have a much narrower champion pool than, let's say, the leveling series recently or anything like that, the unranked to diamond series. On my main account, it's going to be very narrow and playing, again, because I'm going to be raising my rank at the exact same time that I'm going to be doing Iron to Diamond, I can play 3 games of a champion in a row and not be that worried about the YouTube channel, because on Iron to Diamond will be the main content. So that's what I'd recommend, is just focus on the same stuff. So we can look just very quickly. Is there anything that's worth, you haven't, well, there's a little bit of a pattern here emerging on Ezreal, not doing great with a bad KD, so maybe he's not for you straight away. And then last season, a bunch of Jax, and then this is, I guess, where you're starting to experiment, or, yeah, so you're a big Jax player from Season 6. But you are, again, you said, you're a one-trick. Well, you're still playing quite a lot of games on other champs. Like, this season, maybe the less so, because, like, a lot of Jax games. But your Jinx is still there. You do, like, your Jax and Jinx. So just kind of go with that. Don't... Well, I will say, maybe... What I'm about to say, you can take either way, okay? It depends what you want from League. There's a pattern of you being silver, and there's also a pattern of Jax being your main champion. Your deaths on Jax are incredibly high. Like, 8.3 average, 8.3 average, 8.5 average with less kills and deaths in over 100 games. If Jax is something that you like, don't stop playing it, but maybe Jax just isn't the best champion for you, like, to climb with. Like, Jax is obviously a very good solo queue champion, but you've got to be really good about it. Again, this is why I say don't follow someone like a Shinshin's advice, because his is always split push to win. It's a terrible way of climbing. He just does it a lot on Smurf accounts and stuff like that. In practice, for you as somebody that's a silver player to escape silver, split pushing is a terrible way of climbing. It's great for a Smurf. It's great for a Smurf stomping their lane and just, barreling down one lane. But you're probably not stomping your lane every game like a Shinshin would be on a Smurf. So my advice would be just like, maybe, have a big think if Jax is actually for you or not. Okay, so Connor's saying he doesn't like a Shinshin. That's fair enough. There's a similarity there. But yeah, maybe just look into, if you want to continue playing Jax, if you are somebody that split pushes, don't. Also, really think about deaths. Deaths on across your KDs in general are pretty damn high. So I'd imagine you're a relatively all-in player. So yeah, still, even in preseason, your deaths are incredibly high. So it's, while you're in game, have a brief moment before you make a play to kind of go, is this going to kill me? And if the answer to that is yes, 9 times out of 10, you really shouldn't go for that play. The only time you should go for that play is if you think your team is with you, you're going to ace them, and, they're aced, you're the one that died, but your team can continue to push. That's about the only time you should really go for those plays, especially when you're playing a carry champion. If the situation isn't, oh, my team's going to ace them if I die, don't go for the play. Like, it's that simple. Like, just back out completely. And we'll do one more to end out today's op.gg review. Again, we'll keep on North America for today's episode. I think last episode was mainly EU West. So, all right. So it got updated for me. Unbroken Lizards on the ball right there. So we are it looks to be mid lane and top lane main. A bit of Nico. Let's make sure we're on ranked and then ranked. Is there a difference between this and this? Okay, so again, not a flex player, not a 3v3 player, so that is the right list. So, we are Malzahar with a neutral, Mundo with good, Poppy with good, Diana with good, obviously only 2 games, so again, the least amount of games, the less you have to take it seriously, but it's still a good sign. What was last season for you? Because was it Malzahar? No, it wasn't. So you've got Xerath, and Malzahar was starting to emerge. So you're mainly like a control mage, which is awesome. Again, Karthus is down there. Have you got any Karthus games? You've got some. Again, Karthus at the moment, incredibly strong champion. So I would recommend maybe looking to continue playing him. Your Nico, again, low KDAs, but that's not necessarily a bad sign. Maybe you just need to build the confidence of knowing when you can go in and not on the champ, so just play it more often. Your Diana, 2 wins, but bad KDs. So you can, again, sometimes you got to question, what were those games like? Was it me dying because I just didn't know Diana? If that's the case, go into a normal game, go into flex queue, practice the champion before you take it into solo queue. The Malzahar, again, KD is a weird thing on Malzahar because sometimes it's important and other times it's just not important on this champion at all. But yeah, it's a weird situation. So Unbroken said you picked up Nico last night. Yeah, so your 2 games, is it? 2 games were both played last night. Yeah, what I'd say is continue playing her because she's incredibly fun, but do know she's going to get nerfed most likely. But I don't think that's going to ruin the champion. But you have to know when to go in on her. Like, that's the biggest thing. You have to know when to go in and have the confidence in your shield with your ultimate, and that's kind of the strength of the champion. So yeah, continue playing her. Control wards are good. You're buying them pretty much every single game, what I can see. Farm-wise, obviously a little bit on the low end on some champions, but then other games you're doing pretty well. But honestly, again, if you're just experimenting in preseason, continue experimenting. You've got another month of just kind of picking and choosing your champions, and that's what I think preseason should be for. And then you can kind of default what it looks to be in Season 8. You did play quite a lot of champions, so potentially, again, from 28 to 41, they're all losses that, you know, didn't technically need to be there. Because, you know, there's performances like 3-11, 1-8, you know, 2-6. So did you do research before you played them? Probably not. You know, 2 brand losses, 3 Cho'Gath losses. So it's just, again, try to nip that in the bud as well. Don't play these random champions in solo queue. If you want to play a random champ, go get it out your system in a normal game or a flex game. You know, up here you got Vel'Kor's pretty bad with it. And again, like we said earlier, is don't ignore the data. Follow what the data's telling you of an individual win rate and go with it. You know, your Xerath win rate last season was good. Your Ziggs was fine, but, you know, why play a champion you've only got a 50% win rate on when you've got a 60%, you know, a 63%? Go with that and you'll probably find yourself climbing a lot more. But yeah, continue experimenting in preseason. Decide if you want to play Nico, if you want to play more Malzahar, whatever it may be, Diana. And go with there, really. You've got a month left to do that, and that goes for everybody. You've got a month left, roughly, of deciding what champions you're going to go with. And my advice is pick a champion pool that you do your placement games with and your early rank season, and do not escape that champion pool. Pick like 6 champions that you're like, right, for the first month of ranked, I'm just playing these 6. You'll probably climb quite quick if it goes well, and you might be happy with that rank. It's like, oh god, I got gold in the first month of ranked because I kind of nailed that champion pool, and then start experimenting once you've got your ranked that you know you're happy with. But that's gonna be it. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. If you did, throw a like on the video. Again, I said in the last op.gg review, leave your summoner names, and I'm going to pick people for the next episode. You know, in that episode, I said it was not this episode, the next one. Well, the next op.gg review from this one will be when I'm choosing summoner names. So feel free in the comment section of this video as well to leave your summoner name, leave your region, and say why do you want me to kind of have a look, if there's anything that you're kind of noticing yourself. And I'll pick, you know, all that episode, the next episode is going to be picked from the comment section. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoy it, like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.